Hello everyone, welcome back to iRacing for what can only be described as a bruising battle in the Porsche Cup at the Red Bull Ring. This one starts off rough and then it gets rougher. And not only that, there's a controversial moment later in the race that I'm in the thick of, and I'm still unsure if I'm to blame for it. I don't think I am, and I'll explain why when we take a look at it. But as with a lot of incidents, there are two sides to every story, so I'd be grateful to hear what you guys think. Anyway, that's still to come. First, we've got to survive a very dangerous first corner from way down in 15th on the grid. My qualifying time of 1:32.4 may not look that great, but this is a really close and competitive field with little more than 1 second separating me in 15th from Gabriel Barbosa in pole position. Now, we've got an outside grid position here, so at least we've got the option of a wide runoff area if it does all kick off in T1 as I expect it to. So we're underway, and look at the start Andre Foldesi has made in the rearview mirror. He's going to move to the outside to try and get around, so we're going to have to give him the space and let him go through. He's made several positions, and he's going to send it up the inside into T1. I've not got a good feeling about this. Oh, there's contact. 3 cars are out. We have to get on the brakes to avoid hitting them. Somehow in all that melee, we've still picked up a 4X, though. I don't quite know how we did that. We must have just got a tap from behind when we got on the brakes, so that's frustrating, but at least we've got through it without any damage. We do have a car on the inside of us though. That's Ivan Gonzalez, so he's going to have the inside line for this sharp right-hander up the hill. There's nothing we can do about that. We're going to have to give him space. We don't want to turn in on him. I was a little bit worried that Gonzalez's pass would open up a gap to invite Brian Tuttle and Adrian Ranch behind to dive through as well, but it looks like we've just about kept ourselves far enough ahead to hold on to this position for the minute. Tuttle having a look up the inside, but we're going to get to the apex first. So we've held on to the position for now, but we're under big pressure. We're actually going to gain a position. That was Michael Mora in the barrier. Mora started from 12th on the grid, so that's 1 place gain. And we're going to get 2 more. Look, there's 2 cars out in the gravel to the right. That's what we want to see. We're going to start making positions back now. I've got absolutely no idea where we are. I mean, we started from 15th on the grid. We've gained several positions through crashes, but we've also lost several positions as well. So we'll find out in the next couple of corners when we cross the line to start lap 2. Meanwhile, on track, Ivan Gonzalez is beginning to creep away in front. He's 1 second clear. Sadly, there's not such a big gap behind. I've got 3 drivers all within a second of me. Brian Tuttle right behind. Then it's Adrian Ranch, and then Ruben Valla. But we're just about to cross the line to get confirmation that we are 12th. Right, here's a replay of that mess at the start. Now keep your eye on the red number 17, Andre Foldesi, behind me. He moves to the outside to get around me, clips the dirt in the process, then he switches to the inside. There's contact with 1 car as he dives up the inside. Then there's contact with the number 14, Armin Holter, and then it's a domino effect. 3 cars crash out. We get on the brakes hard to avoid that. And then just when we think things are settling down, a few corners later, we lose Michael Mora. He's the green number 23, making a move up the inside there of Ruben Perez, but just loses it on exit. And then at the very next corner, we lost 2 more cars. Watch the pink number 9, Clement Gargone. He's going to make a move up the inside, and then he suddenly switches direction and absolutely poleaxes Julian Holman. We're watching the replay again. I can only assume that it's a revenge punt for this move up the inside on the previous corner. Holman going in really aggressively to make the pass, and from then on it looks like Gargone's only got one thing on his mind, and that's revenge. Watch this. Moves up the inside and then suddenly swerves into the path of Holman. But what a bizarre example of rage this is. Sure, the move is aggressive. Holman's not in full control as he locks up on the inside, but this is the first lap of the race. There's still 16 more laps to go after this one, and it's not like Gargone's had his race ruined. He's only lost 1 position, so why on earth would you choose to end your race and someone else's in this way so early? Baffling. Halfway through lap 2, and we're under real pressure now from Ruben Valla and Adrian Ranch behind, and we're approaching the part of the circuit that I'm really struggling with. This left-hander in particular, I just can't get my line right, and once again there we almost run onto the gravel. I have to lift off the throttle to avoid an off-track. That's going to cost me some speed, and it's invited both Valla and Ranch to make a move around the outside. We were 3 wide on the approach to that penultimate turn, so I felt it was safest just to back out. Vala's gone past and Ranch on the outside now as well. We try and keep it tight through the final turn. We pick up an off-track, but it's probably better for me to get one instant point with an off-track than it was to cause a collision. So Adrian Ranch through as well. We've dropped 2 positions. And now we've got another car on the outside of us. We just can't get back on the racing line here. We are really paying the price for that mistake at the end of the previous lap. Pierre Crepier has gone through as well. Another place dropped. And we're still being told to keep to the right. It's Brian Tuttle now on the outside of us. Dear me, we are going backwards. A yellow flag out ahead. Tuttle's made the pass, but he's not going to get that stopped into the right-hander. So that is at least 1 position we've managed to salvage. But boy, oh boy, did we get beaten up for that mistake. Yeah, it was only the smallest lift off the throttle to avoid an off-track, but it cost me valuable speed. Vala's the first to make a move around the outside. Then Adrian Ranch attacks. Now into the final corner. I clipped the grass on the inside. Look how close we came to running Ranch off there. Thankfully, we managed to avoid the contact. And then I thought we were going to lose another position to Brian Tuttle, but he, thankfully, ran a bit wide at the end of that long straight. So yeah, that mistake cost us 3 positions. We dropped from 12th to 15th. However, we're going to get 1 place back. Look into the gravel on the left. Armin Holter rejoining, but he's not going to get back on in time. It's so easy to outbrake yourself coming into this corner. We just saw Holter lock up there, and from then on, there's only one destination, the sand. Approaching the end of lap 3 now, and Holter's rejoin is keeping Brian Tuttle busy behind, so we've opened up a bit of a gap, which I'm relieved about. Meanwhile, in front, we're chasing Pierre Crepier. Now we're 14th, but as we cross the line, we're going to get promoted to 11th, so we've lost 3 drivers somewhere on that last lap. Oh, we're going to lose Crepier as well. He loses it right in front of us coming out of turn 1. We have to react really quickly. Oh, we've got a slow down penalty. Well, we couldn't do anything else there. We had to run wide. He had so little time to react, and it was either head to the runoff area or plough into Crepier. Thankfully, we missed him, but hopefully we can spend this slow down penalty without losing too much time. It's almost gone. And it has gone. So incredibly, we're up to 10th. Let's check out Crepier's spin again, and we can see just how little time I had to react. There's the spin, and there's us taking to the runoff area. We really didn't have any other choice there, so to get a slow down penalty was a little bit harsh. And then we wondered how we managed to gain 3 more positions. Well, this replay will explain it. Watch the number 4 of Daniel St. Amand get it all wrong going into that right-hander. He absolutely nails the number 15, Mark Hildebrandt. Now, that was the battle for 3rd and 4th. Hildebrandt managed to keep going, but he obviously picked up damage. A couple of corners later, we see him lose it again, and he collects 2 other drivers as well. One of them, Janne Potopra, manages to keep going, but the other driver, Vern Hoschenzala, he's stuck on the grass, so that's another position gained. And speaking of positions gained, it was going to get even better on lap 5 as we approach this right-hander. There's Adrian Ranch rejoining almost right into us. We get really lucky there. Yeah, so many people outbraking themselves at this corner. It looks like Ranch got onto the green stuff, which caused him to lose grip. But once you're in the sand, it's so hard to get out of it. Ranch tries his best to get back on quickly. Almost hits me. Thankfully, we get through and up to 9th. Well, it couldn't get better still, could it? Well, the answer is yes. At the start of lap 6, we enter T1 in 9th. We come out of T1 in 8th because look who's spun on the infield. Ruben Vala's made a big mistake there, and we are making real progress now. We're up to 8th. Yeah, it looks like a little bit too much corner entry speed for Vala, and he's just going to clip that raised curb on exit, and that is going to send him into a spin. Well, there certainly isn't any point in celebrating this 8th position because I suspect we're not going to hold on to it for long. Look in the rearview mirror. Brian Tuttle is closing in fast. He's found some real pace all of a sudden. He's closed the gap in just 0.3 of a second behind as we come out of the final turn to start lap 7. The inside into T1 is a horrible place to be, so I'm going to stay out on the racing line. We'll see what kind of pace Tuttle has got. Sadly, it looks like he's got too much pace. He's on the inside now, so we can't make the apex. We're going to have to let him go by. I knew there was a risk that we'd lose a position if I stayed out wide on that racing line, but I really didn't fancy the tighter entry into T1, particularly with that big sausage curb there. So now we're behind Tuttle. We can see what we can do about sticking with him or maybe fighting back. He's locked up into this right-hander and might have an opportunity to fight right back. We take a much sharper line through that turn. We've got a better drive out of the corner and we've taken back 8th position. Yeah, good little battle this one. This is Tuttle's pass on me, a textbook move up the inside into T1. I knew he was there, so I knew I had to leave him space. But then at the bottom of the hill, at the end of this long straight, Tuttle locks up. That gives me an opportunity to fight right back, and we regain the position. Well, the pressure is only going to build from here because look how close behind Tuttle is. He's swarming over my rear end, and this is the part of the track where I know I'm a little bit slower, so I suspect we're going to come under attack. I'm just really struggling to get the car turned in through that section, and it's costing me speed along this straight. Now we've got Tuttle alongside, so Tuttle moves up the inside into the penultimate turn again. I can't make the apex, I've got to leave him room. Tuttle tucks it up the inside to regain the position. So Tuttle up to 8th, we're down to 9th, and we've got bigger problems in the rear view mirror now. Oschenzoller is right behind. We saw Oschenzoller spin off a few laps ago, so we know he's quick, and he's shaping for a move up the inside into T1 now. I can do nothing about it. It was too late to safely switch to the defensive line, so we had to leave Oschenzoller room. We get out on that raised curb on the outside while trying to leave him room. That could have been so much worse. Thankfully we held on to it, but it has cost us some speed down the straight, and we're going to come under attack from Petibas. T-Bolt by the looks of it. T-Bolt making a move up the inside into this right-hander. He's surely going to make the pass stick up the hill, so that's another position dropped. We're out on the raised curbs again on the outside. We're getting really sloppy here, and the pressure is relentless because look behind, Pierre Crepier and Ruben Valle both within 0.6 of a second. Well, I'm really becoming exposed on that back part of the circuit, the run up to the final 2 turns. We're only a little bit slower than the other cars, but once I get offline, it's really hard to get back online, and we're just giving away positions left, right and centre. That's the second time it's happened. And I've dropped from 8th down to 11th, but 11th could soon become 13th if Crepier and Valle get their way, so I just need to regroup here, get some composure and try and find a rhythm. This is the corner that I struggle with. Hopefully I'm far enough ahead of Crepier that I'll be able to defend this position going into the penultimate turn. I don't think he's close enough to make a move up the inside, so we can make the apex our own. There's a small gap opening up in front. I want to try and stick with these guys if possible. Get on the gas a little bit too early out of the final corner. No, we're on the curb and we've spun into the barrier. Oh, I've got nobody to blame but myself there. Hopefully we can rejoin fairly quickly with no damage, but we've lost a few more positions there. Yeah, this final sector really hasn't been kind to me. This is a lap ago, and Brian Tuttle making a move up the inside of the penultimate corner to take the position. Then a lap later, I make a complete mess of it. I run it out too wide. I get on the gas while I'm on the dirty part of the curb, and the rear steps out. Oh, once again, I'm struggling to turn the car into this corner, and look at the speed it costs me. Adrian Ranch in the rearview mirror, so much faster exiting the turn. He's going to pick up a bit of draft as well. Is he going to make a move up the inside? He's thinking about it. He's going to go for it. Again, we're going to have to leave him some space. I don't want any contact. I'm racking up the incident points already. The last thing I need is a 4X, so we're going to have to surrender that position. We're down to 15th now. Yeah, it looks like Ranch was actually a little bit hesitant about making the move, but I wanted to leave him the space because I didn't want any contact. Well, we're going to jump forward a little bit now and rejoin the live action on lap 13 because I've actually had a fairly quiet few laps down here in 15th, but we're starting to close in on this group in front. Ruben Valle in particular getting it all wrong through that turn, so that is going to gain us a little bit of time. But yeah, these 3 guys in front battling really hard now. It's Adrian Ranch at the front of the group in 12th place. He's closely followed by Tristan Baynode in 13th and then Valle in 14th. We're about 1.1 seconds behind in 15th. Look at Valle, he's putting Baynode under all sorts of pressure now. And we just need to make sure we're close enough to pounce if this all ends in tears, because I suspect it might do. Valle making a move up the inside. They're going to be side by side into this left-hander. Oh, it's going to be tight, going too wide through there. It's really difficult, and there's contact. Raynaud's been hit, and he's well down on pace, so this is our opportunity to strike. I've been done up the inside of this penultimate corner a couple of times already, so this is my chance to take a position back. Oh, I've been hit. Am I going to lose control? No, we just about hold on to it. I've run wide. Raynaud's run even wider. There was contact as I made the pass. And I don't think I've done anything wrong there. I thought it was a pretty clean pass. And actually, I felt the contact before I'd even reached the apex. So I'm going to have to go back and take another look at that one on replay. Yeah, so this is the incident that I referred to at the start of the video, and it all started back here when Ruben Valle tried to make a move up the inside of Tristan Renaud. There's the contact, and Renaud has to get completely off the gas to save that. That costs him all his speed, and it gives me the opportunity to make a move up the inside. Now, on first viewing, I still don't think I've done a lot wrong here. It looks like a clean pass, and it looks to me like Renaud has turned in after losing the position, and that's what causes the contact. He actually turned in really early too, but the reason I'm starting to doubt myself is having seen the same instant from Renaud's on board, because from this angle, it looks like I've properly punted him. See what I mean? This angle doesn't do me any favours whatsoever. So I think to get a better picture, we've got to go to the chopper cam. Now, the question that needs answering is, have I gone alongside him? Have I done enough to make that inside line my own? And I think I have. But then I look at myself locking up and running wide and start to wonder, would I have made the apex had there not been contact? But again, I'm confident that I would have. We'll take one more in-depth look at this at the end of the race, so stay tuned for that. Well, I dusted myself down, and then on the very next lap, lap 14, we're able to go from 14th to 13th. Look out into the sand. There's Brian Tuttle desperately trying to rejoin in front of me, but he's not going to be able to. That's one position back. Well, I've lost count of the number of drivers who've outbroke themselves into this corner. Tuttle is the latest in a long line of victims to take a detour out onto that sand. Now, when Tuttle did rejoin behind me, he soon found himself locked in a battle with Renaud, and it would soon end in tears coming out of turn 1. This is Renaud making a move up the inside of Tuttle into turn 1. No problem there, but now Tuttle's going to fight back. Look, he moves to the outside, and then Renaud inexplicably moves over to that line, and they collide. Now, this makes me feel a little bit better about our incident a couple of laps ago, because I just wonder whether Renaud may not have a spotter or a crew chief to tell him where cars are alongside him. That's the only explanation I can give for this strange incident. Fast forward to the penultimate lap, and now we've lost Tuttle and Renaud behind. We're in a fairly comfortable 13th position, and it's going to get better. We get a message from crew chief to say there's a slow car ahead, and it's Ruben Valle who spun on the exit of that uphill right-hander. So now we're up to 12th. And here's a replay of the spin. Valle's just going to run it in a little bit too hot. We'll see him lock up the brakes here, and just when you think he's done enough to save it, the rear steps out. So yeah, what a bruising race this was. Relentless pressure for large spells of it. A few mistakes along the way, and of course that controversial incident with Renaud towards the end. We're going to take another look at that shortly, but first we'll cross the line to take 12th position. I've got to be happy with that, all things considered.
All right, there's checkered flag.
Okay, as promised, one final look at this incident. Now, I'm hoping this is the evidence that clears me, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. Was I at fault? Was Renaud to blame, or was it just a racing incident? Well, I'm going to switch the split screen on and compare it with a near identical pass that Brian Tuttle made on me a few laps earlier. The crash is on the left side of your screen and the successful pass is on the right. Now I'm going to freeze it right here at exactly the same point. Now look at the position that Renaud is in on the left of the screen compared to the wider position that I'm holding on the right of the screen. Now we're both at exactly the same part of the track, level with the penultimate red square on the curb to the left. Now, the reason I'm holding that wider line is because I know that Tuttle is on the inside of me, and I know that if I go for the apex, I'm going to cause a collision by turning in on him. But if you look at Renaud, he's already turning in, even though I'm past him. So if we start the action up again, you can see what happens. On the right, we all get through safely. On the left, it ends in a collision. And that's why I think I did the right thing, both in letting Tuttle have the space when he overtook me on the inside, and also by getting far enough alongside Renaud to make the pass myself. So I think I'm in the right, but I'm certainly not convinced about it. And sim racing is all about opinions, so I'd love to hear yours. Let me know your take on it in the comments below. Right, time for the classified results. There we are down in 12th position, and actually that was good enough to get a positive boost to the iRating, albeit just a +3. However, inevitably the safety rating suffered, minus 0.27. Unsurprising given the number of incidents in that race. So yeah, there's never a dull moment in the Porsche Cup, is there? Another eventful week. Thank you ever so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of the incident in the comments, and please go easy on me if you think it's my fault. I look forward to seeing you again back on the grid very soon. Cheers for now.